is the Tribune Scouting Report here on the Burnet High School campus, home of the Burnet Bulldogs. This week, the Bulldogs open District 25 3A play against the Badgers, and many predict the district crown will come down to the winner of this game. We're going to ask head coach Doyle Walker about that and then check in with Principal Craig Spinn, ask him his thoughts about this year's Bulldog team. All that and more on the Tribune Scouting Report right now.
We are established. We are qualified. We are certified. We are knowledgeable. We are dependable. We are Ken's Heating and Air. Our people make the difference.
Welcome back. We want to thank you for joining us wherever and however you're able to. We want to welcome head coach Doyle Walker of Burnet High School. Coach, y'all had a bye last week. How did that work out for you?
That was good for us. We had some time for some of our kids to heal up, and it was good for the coaches, and I know it was good for the kids, and they enjoyed it. And it's kind of good to refresh from time to time and get ready for the start of the district and you know, get after it.
Okay. Well, are you pronouncing the Bulldogs 100% healthy then?
I wouldn't go that far. You know, we still got a few bumps and bruises, but nothing real serious. So we just gotta make do with the ones that are healthy and move on right now. And like I said, none of it's serious, but it may keep one or two out. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay. Am I mistaken, or do you believe that the district title for 25 3A will be settled Friday night at Bulldog Field between Burnet and Lampasas?
I'm not gonna go out on a limb and say that. I'll go out on a limb and say any given Friday night in these next 5 games that the district opponents play each other, somebody is going to slip up and beat somebody that they shouldn't. And when that happens, the district title can go any way. And the district race is going to be that close, and I honestly believe that. So we'll see what happens. You know, it's you like to be in the driver's seat after Friday night, and of course, Joey's sitting over there thinking the same thing as I'm thinking over here, and Jerry Vance is thinking the same thing, you know, as Glenn Talbot at Salado, and Taylor and Lano, David Yeager and Rick Colby are thinking the same thing. You know, we want to get off with a good start, win that first district ball game, and then it puts everybody else, you know, 3 of us are going to be winners, and 3 of us are going to be fighting for our lives the rest of the way out. So it's good to get started. You know, and it's good it would be good to get started with a win.
So Lampasas will be coming here to Bulldog Field. Last year, y'all were able to get a road win. I'm sure Joey McQueen and the rest of the Badgers would like to return the favor Friday. What can you tell us about Lampasas offensively?
Lampasas starts a lot of seniors, and they're very, very meticulous. They're not, you know, they don't do anything fancy. They come right at you with some misdirection type stuff, the trap, the ISO, you know, and things like that, and the buck sweeps. And if you get caught up reading all that backfield action back there, you're going to be in trouble. So you got to be very, very patient as far as reading your keys and reading them correctly, and don't get caught looking in the backfield.
And then they still utilize the slot T offense.
Yeah, without a doubt, and they do an excellent job of it.
So Cody Howard is probably the big workhorse. I believe the slot T revolves around the fullback.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, and he's a load. I mean, he's a big old kid and runs hard, and he's hard to bring down. I mean, he's sitting there at you know, 190. I promise you, he weighs more than 190 pounds. It's more like 215, 220 if you ask me. Looking at him in pads, he's a load.
Okay, and he already has 82 carries for 512 yards and 4 touchdowns last time I checked, which is a pretty good average. They don't throw the football a whole lot, but I do hear it is possible to throw the football at the slot T.
Yeah, and it's going to be play action, you know, and it's going to be off the buck sweep action or some misdirection action right there, and they keep they catch the defense sleeping, and they lull you to sleep, and then the next thing you know, they raise up and they got a guy behind you, and here they go. So they do a good job. They really do. They're very polished.
Okay. What are your impression, or anything else you want to say about them offensively before we move on to defense?
They they just line up and pound you, and they want to control the clock with their offense. Our best defense is going to be offense. We've got to keep the ball out of their hands. So, that's our game plan going in, and that's what we'll see if we can do.
What are your impressions of their defense?
Hey, their defense is very sound. They're pretty much senior-oriented defensively too, and they've got a bunch of kids back with some varsity experience, and so it's going to be tough sledding. And we've got to be patient, but yet we've got to sustain drives and take the ball down the field and go score. Every time we get the ball, we need to go score.
Last year, y'all were able to get some key turnovers that y'all turned into points. I don't remember if it was a close game or not, but I feel like when y'all had the opportunities, y'all were very advantageous. Do you feel this is a game where you need to break their will as quick as possible?
We need to stop them at least 6 times during the ball game. We need to stop their drives and make them punt. And if we can do that and get the ball, and the key to it is us getting the ball and going and scoring. And if we can do that, we're going to be successful. Now, we can't 3 and out and punt to them and let them eat up the clock for the whole ball game. But we've got to be very patient and take what they give us, and we've got to stop them defensively.
Okay. Coach, look forward to it. All the best to you. We'll talk to you next week, hopefully after a great Friday night.
I hope so.
We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We want to welcome Craig Spinn, the principal here at Burnet High School, and the Bulldogs' #1 fan. Would that be fair, Mr. Spinn?
I would hope so. I know I'm in the top 10. I do love the Dogs.
What are your impressions of the Bulldogs so far this season?
I think they've been competitive. There have been times when they've made some mistakes that we'd like to see them get past. They're a young team and they're having to grow up. They've got some good senior leadership, but the young kids are coming along, and they always finish hard, and that's what we hope to see in the Dogs.
I know that the pre-district may not have gone the way you'd like. I'm sure you guys would love to be undefeated, be sitting at 5-0. On the other hand, you are 3-2. You lost to some teams that are playoff contenders, but you also have a 2-game winning streak going into the bye. How big do you think that was for the boys last week?
I think it's huge. As I said, we are a young team, and so early on we had some miscues and some mistakes that cost us some ball games. But seeing that the kids are growing up, they're correcting their mistakes and beginning to execute at the level we need them to execute at to win football games, I think that gives us great momentum going into this week's game.
Have the seniors provided the leadership you hoped they would?
Very much so. Man, it's hard to call names right now, but we do have great kids who are working hard. They're showing the level of commitment that we need from them, and they're pulling those younger kids up, and that's what it's all about.
There are a lot of people who think that Friday night's ball game between Burnet and Lampasas will decide the district title. Do you share that opinion?
Wow, that's a tough question. Early on, I, based on what I've seen from area teams, I don't think that'd be too far off the mark. I think there's a good chance that Burnet or Lampasas is going to go on to win this thing out.
I don't know if you're a Texas fan or not, but I can't help but compare Burnet High School to the University of Texas in that the Bulldogs seem to be everybody's main rival. I go to Lampasas, they always want to beat the Bulldogs. I go to Liberty Hill, they always want to beat the Bulldogs. I go to Llano, they always want to beat the Bulldogs. I go to Marble Falls, they always want to be the Bulldogs. What does that say about your program? Because I think that's a tremendous compliment.
I think it says, it speaks to tradition. Burnet has had a good tradition of success. We've had teams through the years consistently make the mark of reaching the playoffs, but more than that, we've had a number of teams through the years make those runs, those big runs to the state title. And so once you have that established in your program, then you kind of become the team to shoot for with other schools. So I think it's about tradition, and I think it's about you know, the quality of programs, the quality of kids that we've been able to put on the field through the years.
Do you feel like that's a burden on your players? And it's not just a football analogy. I feel like that's the same thing with the Lady Dogs and what Bethany Grissom is doing with volleyball, what Mike Kavanagh is doing with basketball, what Amanda Carpenter is doing with softball. Do the kids like having that kind of expectation? I don't want to call it burden, tradition. You called it tradition.
You know, I think they see it as a challenge. They know that schools are going to come gunning for them. They know that in many situations we're the team to beat. Our coaches do spend a great deal of time talking to the kids about that and coaching them up around that and understanding that, you know, there's not going to be an easy week. Any team we play is going to, you know, come after us and try to win. They want to knock off the Dogs. I think it raises the level of competition, and I think when the kids respond to that, it lifts them up and makes them better because they want to win championships.
Mr. Spinn, we appreciate it. Thanks for making time for us. All the best Friday night. Hope to see you at Bulldog Field. I think I will. So.
Okay, Jennifer. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be right back with some closing thoughts.
Caring for you like family is not just our motto, it is our commitment to our patients. At Texas Hills Urgent Care Centers, our highly trained nurses, physicians, and staff know that your health and your family's health are important. With weekend and evening hours, Texas Hills Urgent Care Centers is here for all your family's health care needs, including treatment for illnesses, injuries, school and travel vaccinations, as well as many other services. Located on Highway 71 in Bee Cave and on Highway 281 in Marble Falls, convenient and professional medical care is just around the corner.
Friday night's game is going to come down to whichever team forces its will on the other. The Badgers will want to grind out the ball. They're going to want to grind out the clock. And that means that Cody Howard's expected to have a big night. If he has 200 yards rushing, the Bulldogs will be in trouble. On the other hand, Burnet is used to playing from behind. They use the spread offense for a reason. Therefore, look for senior quarterback Weston Cosby to have a big night passing and see if he can bring the Bulldogs back in case they're running behind. But no matter what happens Friday night, we'll be there. Then we're going to come back and tell you all about it next week when we revisit Doyle Walker and ask him about the 25 3A race. Until then, I'm Jennifer Fierro. We'll see you next week.